Hello everyone. Until now we have created get and post requests in Postman. Let us now try out creating a put request in Postman. Before that, let us try to understand what exactly HTTP put request is all about. So you had seen that in post request we had created a resource on the server. Now what if you want to update this resource that is already existing on server? That is when the put request comes into the picture. Basically, put request is used for updating the resources that are already existing on the server. In case the resource is not existing on the server, put request can also create the new resource. Similar to post request, put request also has a resource body which the server uses to update the existing resource or create a new resource. To understand put request using a real life scenario, let's move to the browser, and here I have logged into a test account that I had created on Airbnb, and if I go into the personal info section, we see that the details of the account are visible to us. What this basically means is that I had already created an account on Airbnb, and hence this account, that is the resource, exists on the server. We see that there is an option to edit various personal information available to us. So if I click on the edit in front of date of birth and simply select some other year and click on save, but before that let me just open the developer tool so that we can understand the request in detail. So now if I click on save, the request is sent and I see that the date of birth is updated. So if we just click on the request and see the details, we see that this is a put request. So this is a typical example of put request, wherein we simply edit the information of an existing resource on the server, which in this case was the test account that was created on Airbnb. Further, if I move to the response section, we see that the server responded with the updated date of birth. So that is mostly the case with put requests. Whenever we send a put request, the server usually responds back with the updated resource. Now that we have understood what put request is, let us move to Postman and build our first put request. But before that, as always, let us first understand the documentation of the request that we are going to try out. Here we are in the bookstore Swagger tool, and the request that we are going to try out is this one. Basically, we are going to replace the book that was assigned to the user, which is denoted by this path, with another book. So we had assigned the book to user using post request, and now using put request we are going to replace the book that was assigned to the user. So let's move to Postman and construct the request. I click on plus symbol over here and select put and mention the request URL. I'll change the path and copy the one from Swagger and paste it over here. Now let's construct the request body, which is similar to what we had done in post request. I select raw and select JSON, because we had seen over here that the server expects the request body which contains the new ISBN. So I copied it from there and I'm just pasting it over here. Let us now modify the parameters in the body. Note that since I had already saved the request that we have used so far, it will be easier for us to construct this request, which relies on the parameters that we had sent in the previous request. So for that, first of all, let's see which book was assigned to the user using get book request. So I simply click on send and I copy the user ID and paste it over here. And in the ISBN, we see that the user already has this ISBN ending with 62. So I copy this ISBN, and since it is the existing resource that we wish to update, I'll paste it in the URL. And now we wish to assign another book to this user. So let's copy another ISBN using the getBooks API. So this was the book that is already assigned to this user. I'll copy the next ISBN, which is about learning JavaScript design patterns, and I paste it in the request body. So we see that the user had already been assigned this book, and now that book will be replaced by this book. And when I click on send, I get 401 unauthorized, and that is because we haven't sent the authorization token. So let us generate a token and copy it. And as we had learned in the header parameters, I'll simply paste it under authorization key. And now let's click on send again. We received 200 OK status, which means that our request was successful. And we see that now the user has the new book assigned, which we had sent in the request body. And as we had seen earlier, the server also responded with the updated resource, which is the updated user. If we see, the old response had Git Pocket Guide assigned to itself. And in the new response, we have learning JavaScript design patterns assigned to that user. This completes the understanding of put request in Postman, using which we were able to replace the book assigned to the user with another book.